here we are starting week 5, folks. We've made it a good way through the course already. We've got about 3 weeks left and we've got quite a bit of stuff to do. So I thought I'd go over what we're doing this week in week 5. This week is a little bit different. I tried to structure it a little differently because of the 4th of July holiday. I know that many of you are probably planning to go out of town and spend time with your families this weekend. And so I tried to give you a little bit of flexibility there. So this week we will be introducing the research process, finding sources, using sources, and library databases. So the week 5 to-do list, here we are. You can see here the MLA research and information reading list. So we've got a lot of information here on MLA citations, how to format your documents, in-text citations, works cited pages, quotations, using sources, finding sources, all of these kinds of things. And so there's a lot of really important information in here that I think we need to spend some time reviewing. We've been working on MLA a little bit, and this week we're going to kind of hit it pretty hard. So you'll have a lot of reading about using citation styles and things like that. So be sure to plan ahead because this isn't reading fiction or something kind of fun. This is more of textbook kind of reading, so you may not be able to read as much at one time. You may have to plan to give yourself some more breaks just so that you don't give your brain an overload of information. So we've got some reading to do. I've asked you to get remote access to the MPC library databases, and here are the step-by-step instructions for doing that so that you will be able to access the databases. And today you're going to look at the research paper annotated bibliography assignment sheet. So there is a lot of information about the annotated bibliography because I know that it is something that is probably unfamiliar to most of us. An annotated bibliography excuse me, helps you gather and summarize information about your topic in a way that it's easy for you to find your works cited entry and it's easy for you to remember what the source is about. So it's kind of like a really quick reference sheet for you to come back to during your research process. So this gives you the step-by-step instructions, and here are some examples. So this is the works cited entry. And then below this, this is the annotation. And so we see the works cited entry has all the important information about the source formatted appropriately for MLA. And then this gives us a brief summary of what the source talks about. And it also tells us how credible the source is. And it may also give us a little bit of information about how the source works with other sources in your research. So it's really just a way for you to organize your research and keep things kind of streamlined. So for this topic, you are required to have at least 5 sources. 3 of the sources must be print-based pieces of literature of different genres. So poems, plays, short stories, science fiction, anything like that. And then one of the sources must be a scholarly article found via MPC's library databases. And so I've given the information for the library databases here. It's important too that you get remote access before trying to access the databases because if you don't have remote access, you won't be able to access the articles and things like that. So you can see here there's ebooks, which this may be helpful for finding the different genres of literature that you need to include for your research paper. Magazines, and here's the databases. So they're broken down into different categories. I think that we will have most luck in the general section. JSTOR is a great one. Academic Search Complete is a great one. And because of the literary aspect of our assignment, you may have some luck with the humanities. Here we see JSTOR again. Salem history might be good depending upon what your topic is. Salem literature would definitely be helpful. So I'll just show you quickly what this looks like. So this is how you have to set up your offsite access, which The step-by-step instructions are right here on the week 5 to-do list. Okay, so one moment while it loads. So this is what the database looks like. So I clicked the Salem literature, and I'm going to say that the theme I want to explore is, let's say, freedom. I'm just pulling something from the top of my head. So I type it in the search bar and it pops up a new window and I have all kinds of results. So maybe I want to focus my theme for my research paper on the civil rights movement. So here's something about freedom rides in 1960s. And so now that I think I'm going to refine, I might type in the search bar freedom and civil rights movement and see what we get. It'd be helpful if I spelled it correctly and see what we get back. All right, so we've got some more information about freedom and civil rights movement. So from here, I would just start looking at these sources and see if they seemed relevant and interesting to me. It looks like most of these are going to be a little bit more analytical, informational pieces as opposed to literary pieces. I did see one that looked like it might be a book, but now I lost where it was. The literary annual. So you can see kind of just scrolling through. Another thing that I would recommend for your research process for this paper in particular, this doesn't always work for all the papers, but because we're looking at literature, I would recommend going to Google and typing, let's say, civil rights movement and poems. I want to find some poems. So here are poetry in the civil rights movement, poems by Langston Hughes. So if you're struggling to find different kinds of genres, I think that it's fully appropriate for you to go to Google and see what's out there in terms of literature, because we certainly don't know every single piece of literature that's out there about the variety of different topics that we're going to be exploring. So that's a quick little overview of the databases. Um, the annotated bibliography will be due on Wednesday, so you have some time to work on the research. You do have an MLA review assignment due Tuesday, and this will be helpful review. It's a small, kind of low stakes assignment for you to practice MLA stuff, similar to one that we did last week, I think. And you'll have some time to practice before you put those into play in your research paper. So then later this week, Thursday, you'll see I have asked you to read a chapter on outlines and look at the research paper outline assignment. However, that assignment is not going to be due until Monday. Oh, I need to change the due date. It's not due until Monday because I wanted to give you some time to work on it. And again, with the 4th of July holiday, I knew that some of you will probably be out of town, and I wanted you to have time to work on this outline to make it as good as you possibly could. So the assignment I've asked you to start thinking about, start working on Thursday, but it's not technically due until Monday. So you will have a little bit of flexibility this weekend to do something fun with your family. So that is a quick overview of what we're doing this week. As always, if you have any questions about anything, I am here to help. I will also be providing feedback for your topic proposals today, so please be on the lookout for that feedback from me, just in case there are any issues with your topic or I give you some suggestions about how to refine it or anything like that. And of course, I'm happy to chat with you about that via email, or if you want to set up a phone conversation, anything, just please feel free to reach out and let me know. And I hope you have a great Monday.